A no commentary version of this run can be found in the pinned comment in the comments section below. This video is intended as a game walkthrough. It is not a speedrun. All strategies in this video were made for efficiency and success rate. Please watch the entire video and listen carefully to the commentary before trying any of these strategies for yourself.
Resident Evil.
Hello everyone. This is a no damage, knife only, and defense item only playthrough of Resident Evil 1 Remake, playing as Chris on hard difficulty. So first things first, you're going to notice, yeah, there's the Samurai Edge in my inventory because I didn't really have a save file that didn't have any of the New Game Plus weapons, but that's okay. Also, for the memes, it's one dangerous zombie is active, as you're going to find out eventually, but... So, at the time of this recording, I would have just gotten done commentating the Jill melee-only no-damage playthrough. There aren't really very many routing differences, but there is one pretty major one, and that's the fact that Jill can skip Plant 42, but Chris absolutely has to fight it. So because Chris doesn't get any knife on account of me hitting once again and hitting hard mode, we're gonna have to do some fancy footwork on some of these zombies to get around them. But that's okay. Because we got some jukes coming up right here. This shitter's about to come up the stairs right here, so we're gonna back it up. Gonna back it right up, and he's gonna slowly plod up. And because he's on stairs, it means he's going to vomit, so we're just going to shoot right past him, head toward the right side of the graveyard, just stay through the right side of the lane, and hope that the Ron Jeremy zombie sitting over there isn't going to like turn around and look at us. Now, so, going to go down here, grab the Book of Curses, which contains the sword key whenever we check the back of it. And if we do it fast enough, then we should be able to exit the area while that other zombie that we lured up the stairs is still on the stairs. In any case, whenever we go back through, that zombie is going to be in a favorable camera angle position for us to just leave. So yeah, the subject of one dangerous zombie. Literally, literally everyone who has asked me about one dangerous zombie has asked because they do not know what one dangerous zombie is. And all it is like a flag that just clicks off on the save file so that certain zombies are replaced with Forest Spare. And the whole point of it is basically just to keep you from blind firing rockets and your Samurai Edge off screen. That's really the only like reason I could see Forest being a thing at all. Because one dangerous zombie is actually a pretty lame addition, unlockable thing. Because you don't encounter it in real survival, you don't encounter it in Invisible Enemy, It only shows up in New Game Plus, and it only replaces certain zombies throughout the first trip through the mansion. After that, you never see Forrest again. So if you were looking for a One Dangerous Zombie speedrun, never happening. If you're looking for a One Dangerous Zombie no damage speedrun, never happening. So you could actually hear Forrest based on the sound of the grenades clinking around. He was in that room over there. We're going to take the old key here and drop off the handgun, swap it off with the knife, because that's what we're supposed to have. Then we're going to stair skate up this way. You know, you don't really have to stair skate if you don't want to, but stair skating does make things a little easier. I know that the achievement for knife only means strictly knife only. You can't crush zombies' heads while they're on the ground getting grabbed. You can't use defense items. You can't burn bodies. Any kills that you do make have to be made specifically with the knife and only with the knife. Forrest is in this room as well, but it's whatever. We're just going to skip past him. Forrest does appear more often in hard mode than in other difficulties. Ultimately, not that big a deal. So, for the dogs here, we're just gonna stick to the corner, slash downwards, and generally hope that the dog is going to be at a full 180 degrees facing the opposite direction from you. And then you just slash down, keep tagging him. One other thing that is worth noting about playing as Chris is that his knife is actually stronger than Jill's. Chris has more HP, and he has a better knife than Jill. Except he actually does have to fight Plant 42. Jill can just mix the V-Jolt and get around him, and get around Plant 42. I reckon maybe someday I might do straight up knife only playthroughs, but because I completed a Jill melee only no damage playthrough, I figured I might as well just follow suit with the Chris playthrough. We're just going to go down these stairs here and avoid going through the murder hall. Also, Forrest is right there. And he quick turned, and you know, don't gotta worry about him quick turning. Actually, I'm going this way so that I might be able to skip past this zombie and use the sword key down at the bottom so that we can get an additional old key. Though really, I probably shouldn't have even done this. I just kind of did it because it was here, and I'd be able to get rid of the sword key. Well, Chris also has some different knifing animations than Jill does. Squeeze by, that zombie is going to be locked into a quick turn grab, wherein the grab frames actually don't start up until really late in the animation, so it's a pretty free dodge, as long as you're not directly behind the zombie. Now that we got the armor key, we're going to go visit Richard and Rebecca. In this playthrough, I decided to let Richard die so that I'd be able to demonstrate that using the V-Jolt with Rebecca does not kill Plant 42, nor does it even weaken Plant 42. If it does weaken Plant 42, it only weakens the core. Because the core goes through 2 cycles, each with its own separate HP pool, I believe. Normally Forrest would be here, of course, but we're just going to go take the dagger off his balcony. In order for Richard to die, we have to complete this whole segment in above 4 minutes. And by this whole segment, I mean specifically just grabbing the serum. I actually got really lucky with that dodge there. I shouldn't have. And the best way I could think of to generally wind down the timer was to just go ahead and take care of the rest of the puzzles in the mansion before going out to fight Jan. I actually did want the sync ribbon over here because this run is done with saves. Gonna exit down here, and what's funny is like Forrest doesn't look like he's there anymore. Well, no, he'll be there again. Turn the picture of the Valiant orange. Turn the picture of the Saint green, and the picture of the Sage purple. And because I didn't really do the best job of arranging my inventory, I have to come back and grab that death mask, but I decided to solve for it anyway. So by now, Richard should be pretty dead, but we're gonna grab the serum anyway. So put down the ink ribbon. That zombie was fortunately moving into the wall. When he does that, dodging around him is free as long as you go around the outside. How important is it to have that door unbroken to this run? And the answer is not at all. As long as you take care of everything else in that area. You can go through that door a maximum of 2 times before it breaks. After I'm done with Jan, I'm just going to go to Elder Crimson Head via the main hall anyway, so... Also, the reason why I wanted to get the old key earlier was so that I could get the hand grenade to use against Elder Crimson Head. So by now, Richard is dead. 4 minutes from the time the cutscene is done. If you don't bring back the serum in time, then he just dies. Still got 1 dagger and 1 grenade. As long as you get grabbed in the front, you're always going to be safe. And defense items allow you to do that to your advantage. Also, sup Forest. Forest is actually really, really easy to dodge because his grab frames actually don't come out until really late. And he also lunges and misses. I think his grab box is also, like, really small. We have to go back out into the main hall and then back in for Rebecca to be done playing. And while doing so, we can pick up the emblem. In order to dodge the zombie on the way to the piano room, what I usually like to do is I like to hold up and right for 1 step on the D-pad. Because remember, your D-pad is always going to be tank and your analog stick is always going to be alt. So after 5 steps, you start to backpedal a bunch and get him to lunge at you. Turn the large gear to the right twice, then the puzzle will be done. From this point on, it's all pretty straightforward. Just run around, yawn, grab the death mask, because we already took care of the rest of the mansion up to this point. If only you'd gotten that serum in time, right? Gosh, diddly dang. Still no need to worry about this guy. Just go back, grab the death mask, and squeeze right by, or you can take the long way around, whichever you prefer. I usually just squeeze that way because he's always locked into a specific path at that point. So the chances of him actually attacking you, hitting you, it's not that big of a deal. Next we're going to skate our way down back to the dining room, grab the ink ribbon, and save our game. And also equip the hand grenade. Next, we're going to skate our way down. Just decided to go ahead and kill this zombie as I should have done before. Slashing upwards at their face actually does quite a bit of damage. So it's pretty handy. And whenever a zombie is at 0 HP, and your final attack is with a knife, then they will not get back up. I guess the two zombie models here in the graveyard actually do not have their own, like, dedicated Crimson Head models, so that's why they don't resurrect here. They just despawn and they're gone completely. So to fight Elder Crimson Head with only melee, or really just in general, I found a trick that gets Elder Crimson Head to do pretty much the exact same grab attack every time. And as long as we stand at his right butt cheek, or like closer to his right leg, while standing behind him, so just like stand behind his right leg, it'll always get him to spin around to the right and do a grab attack. And in doing so, it allows you to counter with a defense item and just kill him. So, pretty handy strat for Chris any percent runs. If you're looking for a way to get Crimson Head to do what you want. Had to double check to make sure it was equipped. Let him slash, then he spins. Nom 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 nom. He didn't run that time, which was nice. Sometimes whenever you use a defense item, though, Crimson Head will run directly at you. Like if you use a grenade, then Crimson Head will just run directly at you before the grenade explodes, so be very careful. Do as I say, not as I do. Once you put the grenade in his mouth, don't do anything else. Also, as you can see, yeah, there's those very late grab frames in action. I just squeezed right by Forrest, and normally I'd get magnet grabbed by like any other zombie, but Forrest just like whiffed, and I was able to get right by him because his grab frames actually don't come out until really late. So the red cock needs to go west, and the blue cock needs to go north. Heh heh. So take note of my frame rate in the upper left. I'm actually playing this game at 120 FPS. This is the PC version, by the way, in case you weren't able to read the title for whatever reason. By turning off your VSync and by turning your FPS, your frame rate, to variable, you are able to get the max frame rate that the game engine allows, which is 120 FPS. And having that frame rate in particular allows for a specific subset of enemy manipulations for dodges, which is why I was able to do what I did with the Crimson Head. Because pretty much all of the enemy AI, as well as a lot of other things in this game, are influenced by frame rate. So what I'm going to do is during this cutscene, I'm going to hold up on the D-pad while it's buffering, move one step, and then run. And if done correctly, then it should always bait out Lisa's forward swing. But this dodge tends to work only at 120 FPS. I think the reasoning for this is because every frame tick that happens, the enemy AI advances a little bit. And whenever it advances enough, then it tries to pull its actions based on your inputs. Kind of like how early CPU players in Street Fighter would always used to like read your button inputs and shit like that. Anyway. Lisa's pretty evil. She can actually read your inputs. For this dog, we're just going to hold up in order to just squeeze right through him, dodge around him. Now we're up here. Pretty straight shot to the guardhouse. There's not going to be anything that gets in our way. All that's left are crows. Sneaks don't come until the way back, so... everything is really safe, as long as we just move in straight lines. First stop is the bar. Grab the red book, as usual. Chris's guardhouse and Jill's guardhouse are pretty identical. If we're talking about what's the bare minimum you need to do in order to complete the area. Gonna push the box over here. Plant 42's tentacle cannot reach us this way. If we push it over the other box, then Plant 42's tentacle is just gonna come out of the other hole, so... scratch that. Gonna head into the 003 bathroom in order to get the 001 key. And we're gonna wait for our friend to come in. That zombie tends to not double lunge, fortunately. So as long as we can get away with him lunging and missing, then it's pretty free. Just leave. .001 bathroom has the control room key. So snatch that. Go through the shark area. A little side note, by the way, in case you're wondering why there are no door animations, it's because I have a mod turned on that allows me to just outright skip them. Those zombies locked in the bathroom, so forget him. That's another thing you can do at 120 FPS is push that shelf on the right without having to push the one on the left. to get around the sharks, one thing that I found that was pretty consistent is just run down the center of the catwalk as opposed to hugging one of the walls. Doing so seems to sort of upset their movement patterns a little bit in precisely the right way to get them to keep like turning around or something. I have no idea. No idea why this works, but it just does. I just tried stuff until it worked. As long as we don't try to take the shortcut, then the sharks will not jump up and try to bite us. I'm not sure if this works at any other frame rates, but it definitely works at 120.
Emergency. Unknown source of pressure detected. Locking all doors to achieve maximum safety.
Release the safety over here. Pull this over here, then we're going to read the whiteboard in order to figure out which button we have to press. Or not, actually. Just going to brute force it. Just kidding.
Reaching 50% of pressure threshold.
The pressure gauge raises a lot faster. The pressure gauge raises a lot faster on hard mode than it does on normal mode, of course. Draining the water, there's literally nothing else that can harm us. Just grab the key, get out, head up to Plant 42. You can either electrocute the shark, or you can do what I did, just jump down, hold up and left on the D-pad, and run toward the gallery key, grab it, and get out. As long as you avoid that initial shark dodge, then it actually will not attack, it won't turn around or anything. It's just gonna sit there and be sushi. Don't gotta worry about him. There's the 003 key. So the way I have this set up is I solve the red book puzzle first, and then I do the V-jolt, and then I exit, and then I save, and then I practiced the Plant 42 fight from there. So I have no idea if the fight will work the way that I think it would work, or the way that I do it in this video, provided I reset the room or something.
Micah! It's no use! Roots are in the basement! You can...
No!
Take that file! It'll tell you how to make the potion to kill this thing! Use it on its roots! Hurry!
Chris!
The solution to this is, as per usual, any combination of 3, 5, or 6. And I got lucky and got 3, 6, 5 on my first try, and it worked. Because I'm that awesome. Take the UMB number 3. Take a bottle, fill it with water. Fill this other bottle also with water. Fill this bottle with yellow 6, and we're going to combine water, which is 1, and 3 with 4. Then mix 4 with 6 to get 10. Get another yellow 6. Mix 1 and 6 to get 7. Mix 7 and 10 to get 17. And 17 and 3 to get the V-Jolt. You guys most certainly did not keep up with that, but whatever. The game literally gives you the solution, and it's a basic math puzzle. So upon doing this, we should be shifting right back to the Plant 42 fight. I decided to play a couple of the cutscenes here just because there would be dialogue. Though funny enough, I don't think I've even actually seen these cutscenes until I did this very playthrough. So here's the strat for Plant 42. Once we hit this camera angle, we're going to stand in the light at the bottom board over here, and Plant 42, every time it raises its tentacles, there's always a very small window. Like, its tentacles are quote-unquote dead, and they go for like 3 rounds before they shrivel up and go away. So I'm just sitting down here, and the melee tentacle and the acid tentacle are just going to keep raising, and I'm going to keep slashing them and keep knocking them out every time until eventually they shrivel up and they leave. None of the other tentacles can actually hit me at this particular angle. The tentacle on the right is not going to swing. The tentacle on the melee tentacle on the far left is actually not going to swing either. But what's funny is I can actually hit that tentacle whenever it decides to stupidly wave itself over here, like this. But it'll still never be able to attack me. So I'm just going to wait for it to raise up and come back, and I'm just going to slash it again. In order to kill Plant 42 with a knife, you just need to destroy all the tentacles. So really this fight is all about zoning and being able to cheese tentacles one at a time. Whenever Plant 42's core opens, then acid will drip from the ceiling. You can see it almost got me there to the right. I'm pretty sure that a no save, no damage, knife-only Chris run is just not going to be possible, straight up. But there is one zone that I've found where the acid will not hit you. And that is standing right here. And I do that, I gotta wait for Plant 42's core to close. Then I'm going to run over to... If you pay attention to Chris's right foot, you're gonna see exactly where I'm standing. That third stub, I'm going to try to run as close to it as I can. And whenever I hear the acid tentacle drip a third drip of acid, that's when I swing. And if I time it right, then I will hit it every time. There is also a spot on the far stairs that you can hit it, but I found that this is actually probably a lot safer, just simply because I can avoid the ceiling acid, and also because it's easier to predict and set up the acid tentacle from this angle. Like, it's easier to sort of get like a little timing mnemonic going, I've found. I was trying to use the strat for the stairs at first, but yeah, you can hear it strip or hear it drip like 3 times. Once you hear it drip acid a third time, that's when you swing. It's like I'll shut up and let you listen. And there it was. So that one's down. And the last tentacle, the easiest place to hit the last tentacle is going to be on the ground. But of course, Plant 42 is currently dripping acid. And we can stand here and keep baiting out the melee tentacle's attack. It has about a 1 second recovery time every time. And once it's recovered, then it will come back down. We can take like 2 slashes at it. Basically, once this attack animation starts up, then it will always commit to a particular place to swing. So as long as you know like which swing pattern is going to come out, then you can actually get out of the way. So standing over here, waiting for the core to close. The core is closed. Gonna head over here, bait out a swing. It's going to come right back. And all of the tentacles will actually die within 2 to 5 swings, depending on whether you hit it on a frame that will register a critical hit or not. And sometimes, well, it's either that or maybe like certain hitboxes on the tentacles. Like maybe there's a certain hitbox on the tentacle that registers more damage than the others, kind of like zombies do. But that's Plant 42.
Chris, you're okay.
Yeah. I think we got to the root of that problem.
Boo!
I owe you, kid.
I'm glad I could help.
Rebecca. Thanks.
Chris, this is Richard's radio. A moment ago there was a transmission. Brad's still flying around, but I don't think he heard me.
Okay, I'll keep the radio. We have to somehow let Brad know about us.
I found a pharmaceutical room. I think I can come up with something useful. I'll be there if you need anything. Anyway, I'm glad you were all right.
Dude, nice spacing on these subtitles. Anyhow. So that was how you do Plant 42 with a knife. It is not totally out of the realm of possibility, as you can see. And it actually took me about 100 attempts before I finally got it. Maybe about 80 attempts before I found a strategy that was actually working, but a little bit of RNG at the start kept me from actually making it. It's like the first place you stand in order to get rid of the first 2 tentacles. Like sometimes acid will just drip on you, and there's nothing you can do. Sometimes the wrong tentacle will sweep forward. There's nothing you can do. But that's the guardhouse. Now we're headed back to the mansion. Put on our dancing feets.
This is Brad.
Head over to this corner and try to run as straight a line as we can from one corner to the next. It's a pretty oblong line, actually. We got to run through that area twice. And snakes should not attack. At least the camping ones shouldn't attack. When dodging around dogs, pay attention. Pay absolute attention to what direction their head is facing. Because whatever direction their head is facing is precisely where they're going to go, and you can actually manipulate that. Hashtag things I never would have learned without alternate controls, by the way. So we're headed back into the main hall. The reason why I decided to do this instead of take the direct line up the stairs is because I found a way to dodge the hunters in the east stairwell without taking damage really, really consistently. It's like foolproof. Gotta go this way, get around this zombie, and then we're gonna go through this library over here. And then when we open this door over here, all we have to do is hold up and run. The hunter will either always swing with its right claw, or it will jump right over you, and you can just get right around it. Never have to visit that room again. Does that hunter dodge only work on 120 FPS? Similar dodges work on all frame rates, so I'm not entirely sure if that hunter dodge only works on 120 FPS or whether it works on console. It is probably worth investigating at some point. I haven't done like console versions of these runs in like a long time, so wouldn't be able to tell you. Nobody ever plays PC version at below 120 FPS. So all the strats for PS4, PS3, Xbox One, Xbox 360 are all different. And the strats for Wii and GameCube are different from even those versions. I remember HD Remaster just completely threw me for a loop with all of the dodges that I'd practiced on GameCube and Wii back when I was speedrunning that version like 5 years ago or something like that. Anyway, I'll take the dagger. The reason why I like to take the dagger here is because usually it gives me enough room to dodge around this zombie over here, but whatever. Stab him in the head twice, get rid of him. Oh man, I thought I was actually gonna get puked on there. Anyhow. Screws through here, we got this zombie over here. As long as we stay towards the corner, he'll probably shamble towards the corner of the table, giving us just enough room to be able to squeeze around him. Hug the right side of the elevator here to get around this piece of shit right here. Got the flash grenade and this battery. And then we're going to head into the dining room. We're not going to go fight Jan quite so soon, because there's 3 zombies there. One of those is a Crimson Head. They're all really shitty and annoying, so fuck all of them. We're just gonna get around them all together. Got rid of the ink ribbon in order to free up some inventory space. And also the last book. I actually only needed to push that once. And there was no reason for me to push that shelf either, because I wasn't getting the yellow gem. This isn't best ending. We only need the red gem. After that, we're gonna head towards the main hall, and in order to get back to the main hall from here, thing to note, the hunter in the way is actually never going to activate. I'm pretty sure hunters are deaf, so until they see you, you don't gotta worry about them. So just hug the left-hand wall, and that will force the hunter to do a quick turn and get it to screech at you. And if it does that, it just wastes an action, and it's like, you fucking dumbass, I'm just gonna run around you. So baiting out quick turns is actually probably the single easiest way to dodge any monster in the game. I could grab that dagger on the floor after dodging that zombie, but it's really not worth it, because there's actually no other zombies that I really need to worry about using defense items on until I hit the lab at this point in the run. So forget that. Getting around this hunter, going back out of the mansion. The easiest way to do that is to just hold up and run. You'll just go right around him. He'll swing, miss, jump, whatever. So by now you're probably wondering, hey, Carcy, why aren't you gonna go fight? Why aren't you gonna go fight the snake? And the answer is because I don't have to fight it now. 1. And 2, I had to go out to the main hall anyway in order to consistently be able to avoid the zombies in the murder hall. So forget that. I'll just go back and fight the snake later. Now we're gonna head down here. Use the battery. Hope that we don't get any bullet dogs anytime soon. I was paying attention to where that dog's head was gonna go. Lucky he threw his head up and missed. Whenever they throw their heads up, if any part of that dog connects, then we get magnet grabbed, sometimes spun around 180 degrees. It's a really glitchy attack. I can't stand that attack. It's a very, very mean attack. I chickened out over here. I was a little worried that the other dogs would catch up. So I decided to enter the shed over here and reset their aggro. I thought that there was a chance that I might be able to down the dog, because I think slashing the knife sometimes lets you down them, but not always. Next up is the Catacombs. I don't even know what this area is all about. Is it like a BOW testing area? Like, what even is it? What even was the purpose of this area in the game? As long as you run the exact same line every time, you don't have to worry about ever getting attacked by either of those hunters. Gonna get rid of the green crank, the square crank. Grab the Spencer key. This puzzle is actually pretty easy. It's the only difference between all the randomized solutions is actually just what direction the initial pieces are all facing, because you can actually like press your you can actually press all your buttons the same number of times between all the solutions and always get like a consistent result. Kind of difficult to explain actually, but anyhow. Hopefully you already know how to solve that puzzle quickly by now. Take the flamethrower. Yes, please. But not before we save our game. Courtyard B1. Loading up the next segment. In case you can't tell, I'm not immediately loading my game after I save. This is a segmented playthrough, meaning I used saves and I just pieced together all of my best segments. The whole purpose of this video is a demonstration. It's not really, like, meant to be anything super skilled. Anyhow, I completely messed up on talking about the spider over here. The spider will start with one of 3 attacks. It's either gonna be the, the dash, a slow acid spit, or a fast acid spit. Generally, going towards the south side of the room after you've taken out the webbing will always result in the spider missing its attack. But anyway, every 3 seconds or so, the spider will take an action, either a slow acid spit, a fast acid spit, or one of 2 melee attacks, depending on your position around it. And, what I did before that, the spider charged the first time. So when it charges, then I get like 3-4 free hits. And while I'm doing so, I have to pay attention to the spider again. If it raises its legs, then I have enough time for 1 more hit. But if it doesn't raise its legs, then it means that I need to run up to the spider and then bait out a spinning melee attack. The one where it like spins around and attacks. And if I do that, then I can dodge away at the last second and it'll whiff, and then I have like another second to attack again. I'd have to go through a bunch of I'd have to go through fighting the spider a bunch of times in order to be able to properly demonstrate what I'm talking about, but it queues up in action every 3 seconds. And sometimes that action is buffered by it raising its legs, which sort of delays the action a little bit, gives you a little bit more time to react and do what you need to do accordingly. Also, I chose Chris's dumbass urban wear costume because I chose the Sarah Connor costume for Jill before. Again, there's that side melee attack that I wanted to bait out. Did enemy AI change significantly between the original and the remaster? There were a lot of changes, mostly in part due to how the game handles the starting frames of enemies, because the game likes to fade in, like fade out and fade in every time a room starts. So that sort of influences the enemy AI, I think, even though the enemies are like paused and not moving. And two, there's like the variance in frame rates. And also they even added a couple of actions that I didn't actually see in the original game, such as sometimes whenever you run by a dog, it doesn't immediately throw its head up and do like that melee grab where it just spins you around 180 degrees and grabs your arm. It just like sometimes growls and gives you a bit more of a running start before it actually decides to run up and throw its head up and grab you. Pretty weird, but I would prefer dealing with dogs in HD Remaster compared to dealing with dogs in the GameCube version any day, because that singular thing that they did to the AI, I don't even know if it was intentional or not, was just enough to make the dogs less aggressive, and the dogs are easily the most broken enemy in this game. So I'm triggering certain camera angles in order to manipulate where Lisa spawns in this area here. And in doing so, I keep her away from the choke points, which allows me to just run straight from door to door and not have to worry about dodging Lisa. It allows me to avoid Lisa without taking a chance with RNG and getting hit. It's been a while since I played, but don't the hunters have an instant kill move? Yes, they do. If they slash your leg, it causes a lot of hit stun, right? And usually they follow up with a second attack, which is always going to result in an instant kill. Previously, hunters would wait, like in Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 3, their instant kill attack, which is like a horizontal leap towards the player that decapitates the player, would normally not come out until the player is in caution orange HP, so like below half their maximum HP. But instead in Remake, the hunters just slash your leg, and while you are mid-hit stun, if you do not know exactly what direction to dodge the hunter from, or you do not have a weapon that will knock them back, it will slash you and just sever your jugular. So in order to dodge a hunter, whenever you see it winding up for that attack, it's usually after the first slash, your character is doubled over, there's a lot of hit stun, and then you hear another sound like... Don't ask me how I can sort of imitate that scream. I've played this game so many times. But it's like sort of like an escalating scream. You'll recognize it once you hear it once and you get your shit caved in. You'll know the scream. Whenever you hear that, all you have to do is run, hold up and right, and then it'll, then you'll basically just dodge toward your character's right, dodge toward the hunter's left, and the hunter will actually miss you entirely. But that requires for there to be some space towards the hunter's left for you to be able to dodge into and get around it. So we came in here. We're not going to rescue Rebecca because going for bad ending, I actually messed up. I absolutely agree that Hunter Stairs is probably the single worst part of a speedrun. There's a lot of really bad choke points in a Resident Evil Remake speedrun. Decided to head down here first and go ahead and use the 2 stone and metal objects so that we can save our game in the main hall. Yeah, Reverse Murder Hall is really bad because of the one zombie that is normally standing near the gold arrow. Like, its position completely changes when you come in from the door from the battery. Well, Plant 42 in a knife speedrun, if we're talking like a knife speedrun, then you're going to need to stand in one place and just keep slashing the tentacles until they die and just tank a million hits. I don't think there's any way to do that fight any faster, other than taking the hits. I thought that with my no damage strat, I might have been onto something, but nah, it's not faster. You have to be able to keep slashing a tentacle pretty much every time. Sometimes you'll take hits from that sealing acid that I mentioned before. Anyhow, I go the long way around to get up to Yawn. Pretty straightforward. Don't gotta worry about other zombies or anything. Slashing Yawn's head actually does quite a bit of damage. Fortunately, doing the Yawn fight safely with a knife is actually not quite as bad with Chris, because Chris has the stronger knife, of course. But the strat is identical to the same strat with Jill, or to the same fight with Jill. Just keep slashing his tail, and once he slips away, stand at the wall, look for the head, go the opposite direction, start slashing. But because Chris, it takes half as many hits to take out Yawn, it's significantly less of a headache. Yeah, in the original game, I would say that Yawn is easily the most broken enemy. This is still a pretty long fight, though. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot here to say, just... This sure is taking a while. But it is pretty close to dead, so... A couple more hits, I guess. Yeah, the ideal strat is to keep slashing the snake in the face, which actually takes it out, like, minutes faster. Because slashing in the face actually does do a lot more damage, but it's also next to impossible to dodge Yawn because his hitbox in Resident Evil Remake is really, really broken. Like, Yawn literally hits you with, like, teeth in the back of his head. Kind of bad, you know? So as you can tell, there is a reason why I'm doing it exactly this way, instead of getting all up in Yawn's grill and trying to kill him that way. And that, as they say, is that. Certainly less of a pain in the ass to deal with than Jill. But the rest of the game is going to fall really quickly now. Now that that's done, we're just going to save our game again. And for this segment, we're going to do Lisa. But not before grabbing the red book out of the box. Lisa's gonna jump. We're just gonna run right by. Hopefully she will be preoccupied with Wesker. Most of these pushes are just one push, except for the one in the back right, which takes 3 pushes. So for first zombie over here, just gonna dodge around these two, and third one's gonna puke. At this point, I'm just gonna equip grenades because they'll just kill the zombies instantly. definitely need to kill that zombie right there. Like, flat out. Do defense items always prevent damage? And isn't there an auto-use defense items option? Yeah, there is an auto-use defense items option. In the options menu, of course. And yes, defense items always prevent damage. Probably should have mentioned that at the start of the video. You take 0 damage every time you use a defense item. But they only work on front grabs. So like if your character gets grabbed from the front, and it's not like a grab attack, but like a grab, where the zombie either has the character like straight up in your grasp and is not actively causing damage, or like knocks you down in the case of hunters and dogs. Went ahead and used a grenade on this guy. And this Chimera over here, we want him to go to the ceiling. Perfect. This is another such grab that causes 0 damage. Wherein we can use a defense item, shove it in his mouth, and splat. I just love how its body just like slaps to the floor like a stack of potatoes. Stack of potatoes. If you could stack potatoes, that's actually pretty impressive. This Zom over here is also getting grenades for dinner. The book did indeed call the chimeras mesh monkeys. Since I've eliminated all the enemies, I'm just going to walk directly from the nitro fueling station to the point where we place the canister. On hard mode, you can actually run 2 steps and walk 2 steps and still be pretty safe. Well, you have to really like do like 2 and 2 or 3 and 3, I think. But it's like 3 is like the outer limits of as fast as you can go before you just blow up and die. So. But the things that blow you up are either running too much, which if you pace yourself, you can actually run a couple of steps before the nitro canister explodes, so you just like keep alternating between walking and running, which varies by difficulty. If you get attacked, you run a very high chance of getting blown up. If you fire your gun or attack otherwise, you also run a very high chance of getting blown up. I actually went down this elevator on accident. If you are watching this, then this means that I forgot to get that last part off of my hard drive and I had to redo it. See, this is why I like to do segmented sometimes. And I sure as shit am glad I did. Because I still have my save files, and then I was able to redo this. Because mid-commentary, I didn't realize that I had completely fucked up. Anyhow, going to fight the tyrant. There's really not a whole lot to commentate here anyway. Still gotta include it, still gotta talk about it. So we gotta run behind the tyrant. And basically, there's only one zone, and it is called the fuck yes zone. Any zone that is outside of the tyrant's ass crack, left butt cheek, and right butt cheek is the fuck no zone. Now we're in the fuck no zone. Now we're in the fuck yes zone, and the tyrant is trying to get us into the fuck no zone all day long. Doesn't really matter though, because Chris just absolutely shreds. It's like, what, 15 slashes or something like that. Boss is dead, who cares? Well, I mean, to be fair, the ultimate bioweapon has the ass of a superhero. Man, you should have seen my infographic. I used that picture of Rich Boy doing the dead ass face. I bet if I dug really deep in my tweets, I might be able to find it again. But yeah, I purposely did bad endings so that we wouldn't be fighting Tyrant on the heliport. I heard there's a Dead Space porn parody out there called Dead Ass. Dead Ass? Dead Ass, my guy? Are you dead ass right now? Anywhoozin', that's the end of the run. If you liked what you see, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also check out the Jill version of this run in the Resident Evil HD Remaster playlist. In case you haven't figured it out by now, based on how I went off the rails on the commentary during the boring parts, this commentary was recorded in front of a live studio audience at twitch.tv/Carcinogensda. Go check out that stream. I stream there full time, usually from around 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, if you want to further fund my bad speedrunning habit, please check out my Patreon, where I will post work in progresses of some of my segmented runs, as well as sneak peeks of my final commentaries, because I generally only upload videos like maybe every couple of weeks or so. So definitely go check that out. So that being said, thank you very much for watching, and see you guys next video.
Chris, you did a fine job.
Man, I love this tyrant getting falcon punched off the fucking screen. You only get this whenever you're playing as douchebag Chris. Pretty good. But for real though, see you guys next vid. Thanks for watching.